Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday at 5. Today is our first ever episode of Wisdom Well Wednesdays. So what does that mean? If you missed last week or any of the posts on social media, it is just a change of name of our Live at 5s. We will no longer be going live. We will be doing just a pre-recorded. It's going to be a lot more polished, a lot easier to understand, and it's going to go straight out on YouTube every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is our new exciting new name. So even though it's episode 1 kind of thing of this Wisdom Well Wednesdays, is actually episode 31 because it's carrying on from Live at 5s. Today we are going to be learning about reflex zones and navigating your body's wellness maps. Now, I've done reflexology before, so you can check that one out. But this one's just going to go a little bit deeper into what reflex zones are. We're going to cover the feet, the hands, the ears, the face, and the head today. Hopefully it will make it a little bit more understandable for you. If you're a complete beginner, I would actually suggest you go back and watch the other reflexology one where I just tell you the basics of it first, and then you can come back and watch this later. Okay, so once again, welcome to our first ever Wisdom Well Wednesdays, and let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about reflex zones. So reflex zones are the idea that your entire body, inside and out, so all the internal organs and everything, as well as arms, legs, stomach, all of this stuff, they're all mapped out on your hand, on your feet, even in your ears, on your head, and on your face. So the idea is it's a little bit like acupuncture and acupressure, where you press the points, and that helps you with certain ailments and pain and mental clarity or whatever it is. So the idea is that your whole body is mapped out. So the easiest thing to think of is this is the top of the body going down to the middle of the body, all the way down to the bottom half of the body. So it's nice and easy to remember it in that way. And then your left is your left side and your right is your right side. So obviously you have like some organs, for example, that are on your right side and some that are on your left side. So they'll only show up on those corresponding hands. So like stomach, liver, gallbladder, all of those kind of things. Things like kidneys that you have double of and lungs, they'll be on both hands, but you'll have your left kidney and your right kidney. Yeah. Okay, so by massaging and putting pressure on these points on your hands, your feet, your ears, your head, or your face can actually stimulate the rest of the body, or the point that it's meant to be, into actually getting a bit better, activating it into healing itself. So it's kind of reminding your body, hey, we've got a problem with our bladder, or with our head, we've got a bit of a headache, or our arm is really hurting. Can you do something to sort that out? And so that's all you're doing when you're doing that. It sounds really strange. I didn't believe it when I first heard of it. I was quite young though. I was like a kid at the time, but I was into massage and everything. And my mum had very, very severe sciatica, and she loved having her feet massaged. So I literally would take her feet and a massager, and then when she had the sciatic attack, I would then do the pressure on her foot, that was where the sciatic nerve is, and she said, oh, that's really tender, but I didn't tell her that's what I was doing. So that proved to me straight away when I was like 10 or whatever that there's something to this, right? And since then, obviously, I've had many clients, friends, family that have had reflexology with me, and I've not necessarily told them what I'm doing, but I've known that that bit should be tender or whatever. And sure enough, that bit is, and it just kind of clarifies for me and for them that there's something to this. And it does actually really, really help people notice a great deal of difference after they have a reflexology session. So there we go. Just going off on a tangent there. So very quickly, the history of it is a very, very old one. Lots of different cultures do have some kind of form of reflexology, some kind of like reflex zone modality, let's say. So some kind of massage technique or pressure point technique that makes the like maps out the body on a certain area of the other part of the body. So like the feet maps out the entire body on the feet, and they will press points on there to stimulate the rest of the body. So Egypt had this, China had this, even Native Americans had this, you know, so it's very, very old. India had it. And then later on, coming out of the ancient times, medieval Europe started latching onto this. I believe it was Marco Polo or someone like that is believed to have taken some books from Chinese manuscripts and things and translated them or had them translated and introduced over to Europe the idea of reflex zones. And then from there, other people took that on and made it their own. So there's little twists of it depending where in the world you are or where you learn from. And then, of course, the 20th century came along and it kind of like got revamped and it kind of came back into the consciousness of everybody. So there's a couple of people that literally brought it back into the public domain and were like, hey, this is a really cool thing. Let's do this. So thank you to those people for bringing back reflexology from the archives of history. So yeah, so very, very quickly, it's just, if nothing else, it's a nice relaxing treatment. But on like the other end of the scale, it can really help with internal and external pains or conditions. It can help with mental and emotional issues as well. And then it can even do spiritual things. It can do like chakra balancing and, you know, aura cleansing and all this kind of stuff. And there's like certain techniques, depending who you learn from or who's your therapist or whoever is doing it for you or you're learning from, you can do so many different things with it. So as I'm talking, I'm going to put up some maps and things so it's a little bit clearer for you. If you have any questions though, please do contact me or put in the comments. And I am so happy to talk to you about any subject that I talk to you about and more. So please do start a conversation with me. I absolutely would love to chat with you about it. Okay, everyone, welcome to the floor, because this is the best way that I can think of demonstrating this. So we're going to start with our feet, and I'm going to show you a couple of points, but please do just Google reflexology and feet or whichever place you want to try it on, and just look at a couple of different maps and then just feel around on your own feet and find them. So as I said earlier, the top is the top. So the big toe is your head. These other toes are things like your sinuses and your teeth and things like that. And then you've got your eyes and your ears are just down here. And then we have lungs right there. So then all of this is the middle half. And as I said, depending on whether you've got your left foot or your right foot, your stomach's going to be more on one side than the other side. Your heart's going to be on both sides because it's just in the middle, right? So it's, yeah. And the kidneys, you've got like your right and your left individual ones, your lungs obviously there. And then you've got like liver on one side, but not on the other side. Making sense? So for example, if you've got a headache or a migraine, you can do the pituitary gland, which is right in the middle of your big toe, either of them, and you can just pinch it either with your finger or your thumb and just pinch there, do circles. Also the top of your toe, that is the top of your head as well. So depending on where you're feeling it in there, you can do all that. And that should really help with headaches if you're able to use your feet to help with that. The spine is the arch of the foot. So this is the very, very base of your spine, your tailbone. and we're going to go all the way up. You've got your lumbar there, and then your thoracic all the way up, and you've got your neck right here. And then obviously, as we said, this is your head, right? So that's a nice way of knowing exactly where on your spine. So if you've got lower back pain, you're going to do more down here. Mid back's going to be more here. And then upper is going to be more here. Neck pain is obviously on the toe. Neck pain is both sides of the big toe. Okay. So yeah, so you just kind of, whatever you want to do, you could use your whole fist like that and go along like that with it. You could just go up, called walking your thumb up the side, whatever it is that feels good for you. And then of course you've got the bottom bit here. This is all of the heel is your small intestines and your large intestines. So all of that heel is your small intestines, and then nice and easy, you can go up, across, down and round. Go up, across, down, round. And then that's your large intestine. So you're just tracing what your large intestines looks like. Okay, so then moving on to the hands. So like I said, the pretty much the same as the feet, they just look a bit different. So your thumb is your head. So as we said with the headaches and stuff, you would just do the middle of your thumb, either thumb, and you would just press or pinch or circles, right? So this is for headaches. Also, there's a video that I've done on acupuncture and acupressure. Check that one out. There's also a really good one in there that I use for headaches also. But that's acupressure, not reflex zones, so we won't talk about that here. So digestion and stuff, this being the middle of your hand, that's going to be where your stomach is, where your intestines are and everything. So you can even just, just do a big, huge circle there and make sure it's clockwise and just kind of really push in there. And that should really help with any digestive things like bloating or anything like that. Stress and anxiety, you can go under the little finger of either hand and just do sort of a small little gentle pressing or circles or something there, and that will really help with stress, anxiety, and those kind of things on the heart there. Let's do ears. Okay, so we're going to try ears now. I'm going to put up all of the points on the screen so you can see them as well, so don't worry about having to look at me. Okay, so let's start with our first point. What should we do? So I mean, stress and anxiety, right? So I mean, you can use your little finger and that's fine, but if you want it more pinpoint, you can get a pointed crystal, you could get a special tool for it, whatever you want to use. And what we're doing is it's at the top of your ear, but inside, so there. And this is called Shenmen. This is it's like in English, it's like spirit gate or something like that. It's very, very calming. So if you can do a point right there at the top. So you've got this sort of outer bit, right? So you want to go inside and sort of in the middle. You'll feel there's like a triangle there, and you just push in there. Now, ears are really fascinating because they are an upside down fetus. So when you're in your mother's womb and you're ready to come out, your head will be at the lowest point, right? And then your feet will be curled up in the fetus position, right? So if you think of the ear like a baby in the womb about to be born. So that means that the bottom of your ear is your head. So your eyes, ears, mouth, and all head stuff is there. So let's go with headaches again. If you have a headache, you can just manipulate and pull and circle the bottom of your ear there. Okay? That's really good for eye stuff as well, ears, all of those things. So if you have any addictions or cravings or whatever, you can also, so the near that first point that we did, the top of your ear on the actual outside bit. So you're pinching on the inside and then the outside. And you're just gonna hold there or whatever feels good for you, really. And you're just going to do little circles, like on the spot circles or rubbing or whatever feels good for you. And that should help with any kind of cravings, like sugar cravings or any kind of addictions that you don't really want. So finally, right in the ear, but not in the ear, but like that little, oh, the big bit of like flesh on that bit there. So you've got the outer bit, you've got like a bit that comes down like that. And then there's this bit here. So you're not going in to the actual ear, you're on this fleshy bit here. And if you just go on that and just hold or do the on the spot circles or whatever, either with your little finger, probably best for this thing with the little finger, or you can do with your pointy stick of whatever that is, whatever you're using as your pointy stick. But probably for this one, you're going to use your little finger. That's really good for sleep and insomnia. So if you can't get to sleep, either side, you can just rub there, and that will really, really help with any sleep issues that you might be having. All right, let's get you off the floor and we'll do the face and the head. Okay, so let's do the face and the head reflexology, so facial or scalp reflexology. These are kind of different wherever you kind of look. So again, just have a little look at lots of different maps, feel around your own face, especially if you have problems with certain areas, see which ones work best for you and just go with that. There's no right or wrong, you just use your intuition. All right. So for this one, I'm just going to use a map that I use, but you use whatever you're comfortable with. So for example, if you've got problems with your kidneys under the eyes, and again, this would be like right and left side. So right kidney, right side, left kidney, left side. And just under your eyes, this is where the kidneys are. So you can massage them. You could even use like the tools and things under the eye for this kind of stuff, because with the face and the head, it's a lot bigger of area than it is on the hands and the feet. So you could use it with part of your, if you use these as your facial routine, you could actually just spend extra time or extra pressure or extra techniques on these areas if you need them. Right, so that's really good for any kind of kidney function or water retention, anything where you've got a problem with your kidneys. So it's right under the eyes. Lungs are pretty easy. What looks like a lung on your face? It's your cheeks. So again, right and left would be right and left, right? So this would help with any breathing stuff. If you've got a cold or the flu or anything where you've got some kind of breathing difficulties or you've got some kind of problems with your lung functions, again, you can just massage whichever way you want to do, or use your rollers or any other of your little tools that you use for your face. So then your digestive system is strange. It's above and like so between those last two really would be your stomach, and then your large intestines are underneath the lung, right? So you've got stomach and lung, right? So obviously that's going to help you again with any bloating, any digestive problems that you're having. And then if you've got any hormonal imbalances or any kind of reproductive area issues, that's just your chin. So again, you can just massage your chin here or here. It's not the whole jaw, it's just your chin right there. So again, you can be using your tools or just your hands or whatever it is that you use, and that can really help with hormone imbalances. Obviously, like whichever imbalance you have, it will activate that one. So you don't have to worry about testosterone and estrogen and stuff like that. It will just automatically know which one is the problem. So then moving on to the sculpt, let's see if I can do this one. But again, we're going to have the images up in a minute. So spine is literally just go on the base of your skull and the top of your actual spine. You're going to go up, and this is the base of your spine going all the way up. Right, so nice and easy. It's just the middle of your head. Right, it's just that line. So again, like with your feet, whichever one, whichever part of the spine is hurting or is the problem, you can pretty much just work out whereabouts it is, right? Same goes for the nervous system. It just follows along that, right? So any nervous system stuff, anything for anxiety or just calming and stuff like that, you can go along the spine. So then you've got like the whole body is mapped out as well. So if you go from, so this is your spine. Annoyingly, my parting is off to the side. So it's actually this side of that parting, the middle of my head. But then just to the side of that, at the top is your shoulders, right? So any kind of shoulder problems. And just feel around, you'll feel like, you'll know when you get it because it feels like an indentation or it feels a bit different. It feels like the area that you're meant to be using, right? And then you just come down and these are your arms. Again, right and left, right? So the whole body again is mapped out. So this is the top of your body. So eyes and ears and mouth and nose and head in general, even that's on your head. And then you've got your spine going down your neck, and then shoulders, arms, and then goes all the way down into all your internal organs, all sort of around here. Obviously starting up with the lungs and ending down with the digestion, like the intestines and things. And then you've got like your feet and legs and all that lower stuff is all sort of like this bit, right? So depending what you're looking for. All right, so just follow along with those maps and just feel around for yourself and you should find exactly what you're looking for. So good luck with those. Okay, so now that you've learned all the different ways of doing it, I'm just going to tell you how you can incorporate it into your own lives, depending on your own needs or comfort levels. So first off is doing it on yourself. Obviously, it's nice and easy to do on yourself, and I recommend that you put it into at least a weekly or monthly schedule for yourself, if not daily. And you can do that on whatever's easiest for you. You can do it on your feet if you're flexible enough to hold your foot. You can do it like obviously easy to do on your hands. Face and head, you can just kind of feel around. It's a bit harder, obviously, the back of the head to do it, but you could always have a mirror behind you and in front of you to just see if you're getting the right place. But you know what, all it is it's practice as well. And you will start to either intuitively know where you're on the right spot, or you're just get used to where it is. It's like almost playing, if you play a musical instrument like the piano or the violin or woodwind instrument or something, after a while you don't need to think about where exactly your hands are to play the right notes, you just play them, right? So it's the same thing with all kind of reflex points and acupressure points and all of the kind of stuff. You just kind of feel them and you get to know where they are. And if you end up doing it on other people as well, it's the same thing. You can just kind of like guesstimate where you think it probably is on the hand, and then your thumb or your fist or your fingers or whatever, they will actually get into the correct place and you actually feel exactly where you're meant to be. It's all just practice, as with anything. Um, and ears. If you've got a pen in your junk drawer that doesn't work anymore, you could use this. So you don't need any kind of fancy anythings for it. You can get a pen that doesn't work anymore and use the point of it to get to all the different points in your ear. So there's that you could use, or there are actual special equipment that you can buy. You can probably buy them quite cheap, and they're just like a metal stick that kind of gives a little bit as it goes on the ear, so yeah, it doesn't poke in the ear. You could also do like any kind of crystal points as well. If you've got a small enough one, you can just manipulate on the ear or go around on the points that you need. Anything that's got a point you could use for that. You could also use massage rollers if you want on your feet or on your hands. There's no problem doing that. Obviously, you just can't get in too much with that. So this would just be like a massage thing to just get your hand ready more than actually getting on the spot, unless it's a bigger thing, like the lungs or something. Okay, so there are also socks that you can buy and gloves that you can buy, where you put them on and they actually just have the map on them. So that's pretty cool. So if you're learning especially, that might be a really good one to get. And don't worry too much about where it says it is, because obviously your hand's going to be different on everyone. So just kind of use it as a rough guide and then really try and find exactly where it is on your hand or the person that you're doing it on is. And you can incorporate doing these pressure points and things on just your usual meditation or yoga or just mindful moments, breathing exercises, whatever you want to do. You could incorporate these points as you're doing things like that as well. It's a really, really great one for all ages. You can literally have a newborn just seconds old and you can do reflexology on them. It's just the same as an extremely old person, 100 and something years old. You can do it on them also. Obviously different pressures and on a baby it's going to be a lot smaller area, but it's very, very doable. I've done it before as well myself on newborns. It's just as intuitive, it's just as easy, and nothing, the babies or the younger the child is, the more receptive they are to it immediately. So it's actually fascinating to do it, especially on children and babies. Helps them sleep, it helps them with colic, it helps them just bond with parents. So if you're a parent of a child, you can do this for bedtime routines, and it's a really lovely thing to get your child relaxed in your company and get you bonding with them a little bit more too. But yeah, you can learn a little bit of this, or just have a printout or a screen up with the maps on it, and just do it on other people and just ask for feedback, ask what they feel about it, and just try different pressures and things. It's better to do with your thumbs, your fingers, your elbows and things like that, because you can feel more, it's more tactile. But if you want to use any equipment, there's like wooden sticks and things, like not ones that you get from the garden, like proper polished tools that you can get and things like that, and of course the crystals as well that you can use, like crystal wands with like the rounded ends that you can use. But especially if you're learning, I really do think that you should actually try it with your own tools, and then you can actually discover exactly where the points are on a more intuitive level before you bring in anything else. Of course, you can always just go to a professional reflexologist or somebody like that who can do this for you. And there are modalities and things that will incorporate perhaps these things into it as well. So for example, when I do ear candling, which I've also done a video on, I actually do the ear reflexology and the face and the head in that treatment as well while they're having their ear candles done. Same when I do Indian head massage, I will incorporate pressure points, not necessarily the reflexology points, but I'll do the acupressure points as well as reflex points, depending on what my client needs when I'm doing stuff like that. And of course, I actually do reflexology too. So you can find somebody that does reflexology in other modalities also and experience that. Hot stones in reflexology actually is a beautiful one. If you can find someone that's actually qualified in both of those and ask them to use the stones with the reflexology, it's fantastic. So yeah, so please do have a little experiment with some professionals and see what is the best thing for you. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me for this first variation of Live at 5, this Wisdom Well Wednesday. I really hope you enjoy it. Please give me feedback. Please let me know what you thought of this new way of doing it, what you think of the name, any suggestions on future episodes, etc. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff on YouTube. It really does mean a lot to me when people do that and get the word out and stuff. So, and look out for me on social media as well. There's always events and cool things happening on it also. Yeah, just come and see what's going on with me. Next week is healing the lineage, working with your ancestors. Now, this came up because in my work as an Akashic Records practitioner, lots of people have been experiencing a lot of lineage things, lots of ancestor work that's coming up for them, and how healing that is super important. So I thought, well, that sounds like an episode. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. Please do tune into that on YouTube every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.